What are your most favorite memories of your childhood?
Gee, my most favorite childhood memories. There's a lot of them, believe me. There's a lot of favored childhood memories. One of my most cherished was at the Immaculate Conception Parochial School in Pawhuska. They had a parish hall. And in that parish hall, we'd have hand games and dances and different occasions, different functions. And one function was Roman Shackelford's birthday party. And this was it was about 1967 or 1966, I don't recall which. And they had a birthday party for Roman. And all the kids were there, and we were 7th or 8th graders, something like that. And we had a dance. Well, let me back up a little bit. In the 60s, they had all these dance programs on television where they would do the latest dances, the jerk, the monkey, the frog, all these crazy dances. And we'd watch that on the weekends when they would show. Well, fast forward to Roman's birthday party, and Romaine Shackelford, he had a reel-to-reel recorder there. And as each of us came in, actually when we were all there, he got every one of us individually, and we'd go up there and we went and he'd interview us, kind of like what we're doing here, and he'd ask us a couple questions about who we were and what we were doing, that kind of thing. And everybody just it was the best party. Roman Shackelford birthday party was the best party. We had Romaine, I'm sure he's got that reel-to-reel tape somewhere with all of our voices on there, little 7th and 8th grade, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade kids getting up there and having that microphone and talking on there like it was like we were on the dance party program out of Tulsa, which, by the way, there was a lot of Osages that went to that dance party program in Tulsa, and I won't name names, but a lot of them are from Hominy, and you're probably related to a few of them.
What was your favorite dance back then?
My favorite dance was the jerk, because I could do it. Because it was easy, and all you had to do was snap your back, like It was fun. It was fun. It was a fun dance, the jerk. I wasn't too cool on the monkey and the Watusi or any of that stuff, because that was too much movement. But the jerk was more my thing.
How much has Grayhorse changed since you were young?
Oh gosh. Now, I didn't live in that house in Grayhorse when I was young. That was my Aunt Eva. My Aunt Eva had that house. We had a fence around it at the time, which the fence is gone now. That was there. And then there was a summer house where next to where the roundhouse used to be. Now, I remember the roundhouse because my first time ever being to the dances, it was in that roundhouse. And one of the things I remember was getting up on the top steps in that roundhouse and looking out the window and seeing how I could see the men from up there very well, and there was probably maybe 20 dancing. Well, my Aunt Eva, she saw me up there and she made me get down on the bottom step and get off there, you don't need to be up there. So I watched it from down on the bottom, but that was before the roundhouse burned down. So in the 50s, I think, I don't know which, late 50s I would say, 58, 50, 59, somewhere around there. And then there was a summer house that was there near where the community building where they cook. There was a summer house there, and that's where they used to serve the meals for the committees. It was in that summer house, and we would wait. All the kids would wait outside. They'd serve the committees, and then they would serve the adults. And then at the conclusion of the adults, they'd call the kids in, and we'd be able to go and sit down and eat after everybody else. But it was small, but that's how it was. And then after the roundhouse burned down, they had a almost like a barn raising, where they built the arbor, that tin roof arbor that they had, and there was all the men. I say all the men, but there was most of the men in the Grayhorse district showed up with their families when we were raising the arbor, and they were welding all the pipe that needed to be welded together. They were putting that tin roof on, and they gave all those little kids that wanted, gave us little buckets of paint, and were all those vertical poles that were all around that arbor. We took they gave us little paint brushes and our little buckets of paint, and we got to paint as far as we could reach on those poles. So you see different heights on the paint, where it'd go up, somebody shorter, somebody taller, and it was like that all the way around, until they finally just uniformed it. But we got in there, and I believe the first year that we danced under that arbor was the first year that they put me in. I believe it was 61, 60, I don't remember, because it's a few years since then, but I believe I've got photographs from 1961 with my Aunt Jody. And we were there in the house where I live now in Grayhorse. And
How old were you?
I think I was 8, 7 or 8. I'm pretty sure it was 8, because we'd moved back from Colorado, and we were living here in Pawhuska at the time. And then we went 30-some years with the arbor, and then we had that community building that I believe Charlie Tillman got funded through a grant, and we got by with that for several decades with that. And now we've got amazing dance ground, amazing community building, amazing chapel. The visitors camps are all nice. There's fantastic, nice and neat and tidy. Now we've got a water treatment plant going in. We have a lagoon that is being replaced and repaired and replaced.
Did you ever think those kinds of advancements?
No, I never thought. I thought a rural community was going to be a rural community. Actually, we have better lights in Grayhorse than they have in Fairfax. So I mean, that's kind of what I look at, and different ones that I talk to. When I talk about the responsible use of our resources, and we have limited resources, but you talk about being responsible with our resources. Just go to our villages. Look at our villages. Look at what we've done to our villages with our resources. There's no better way of spending our money than putting it on our culture, and that's basically what we've extended our culture another 100 years with these structures, doing what we've done, and that's the largest change that I've seen. There's no more are we going to see those wildfires go through and destroy our buildings and homes out there. And we've got the modern conveniences and fantastic O's out there. We've got the showers. Gosh, the paved parking. We just had gravel out there. One time we were little, and another fellow and I, Lester Williams. Lester is Johnny Williams' younger brother, and we used to run around together. We both started dancing about the same time. We used to sit next to one another. Well, we got in trouble together running out there on the dance ground, and got called out by our older ones. But we used to get out there in the gravel parking lot, and we would throw rocks on that tin roof while they were dancing. And it hit that roof, pow, 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 pow. We did a couple times, and then we'd see the heads start turning around, and we'd move on, take off from there. But it was small. The dance was small. There may have been 40 dancers, 50 dancers back then, and it everybody just ha ha ha'd it off. But now you can't do that. They would send police after you. But there's a lot of things we used to do that they send police after nowadays.
Who are your heroes?
Heroes. You know, I never really had a hero. I had people that I grew up with that were they did amazing things. And I never really called anybody a hero because that connotates worship, and I'm not into worshiping other humans. But I have had the privilege of working with and around different ones, and most of them are gone today. The elders that used to be around, but I mean, just in the Leroy Logan for one. He named all of us kids, all of my siblings and I. And I had a boy's name, but he gave me that Homo Taco name as an adult. That was my adult name. Carl Core, Melvin Core, they are amazing men. They epitomize what Osages were. They took care of their family. They took care. They were dependable. They went to work every day, and they did the right thing. They did the right things. I can go on and on. Let's see. Let me go on and on. George Tall Chief, John Tall Chief, Francis Drexel, Johnny Williams, Leonard Maker. I was thinking of Leonard on the way over here today, and everything he went through with his work and everything, and the conversations that we had, and he's a person I really looked up to. He's one that was genuinely Osage and cared about everything Osage. I've had football coaches, baseball coaches, friends, relatives that I've admired what they've done in life and just being who they are. People that are funny, people that make me laugh. They're not heroes, but they make my life better. Anybody that makes my life better, I appreciate them, I respect them, and that kind of thing. Try and emulate some of the things that they do, and hopefully I'm following in their footsteps, so to speak. But there's so many influential people in my life, teachers, peers. Gosh, I think of my classmates that I grew up with, and they're no longer here. Roman Shackelford being one. The Sellers boys. Those are particularly hard when you lose somebody that you grew up with. And, I mean, friends. The Ted and Chico Sellers. Those guys. Those are the guys that I remember. The ones that really shaped my childhood.
What was the happiest time of your life?
Oh gosh, that was definitely when I was married, having children and grandchildren. That without a doubt, there's watching those little babies grow up to be adults and moving forward with their lives and having their own children and lives. That is probably my the most gratifying thing in my life is just family.
What do you love most about being Osage?
It's hard to say. It's hard to put into words what is most loved about being Osage. It is from the time we wake up and till the time we go to sleep, we're Osage, and we laugh, we pray, we share food with one another, we dance with one another. That friendship that we had, I mentioned that my friends that I grew up, my Osage buddies that I grew up with, that is I don't know. It's
Well, I was told that you are the person who came up with Sovereignty Day.
Well, I don't know about Sovereignty Day. I didn't come up with it. There was a lot of people that were involved in that. I just happened to be the point of contact for Sovereignty Day during that time. It was okay. I don't know how deep I want to go into this, but it was during the time when it was still the Osage Tribal Council still held the reins on everything up here with this, and I was asked. I was called into Chief Gray's office with a one-on-one meeting with him, and he asked me to lead the effort for Sovereignty Day, which in retrospect, I probably should have said no, but I went ahead and accepted. Well, that meant having to go before the tribal council and request funding. And we were looking at a $40,000 budget for the Sovereignty Day. That was just tentative. That's, we just put pen and paper together, and this is about what it's going to cost. And I had to go before the tribal council and request a budget for the Sovereignty Day, and they reluctantly approved it. Now, you got to remember, back then there wasn't a lot of extra money with the tribal council. They had $1 million or whatever that is that they have to administer their services. So there's not a lot of leftover money, but they went ahead and approved it begrudgingly, but they approved it nonetheless. And which, once we had funding, then we were able to start soliciting bids for a tent, the big tent, and putting the program together, which, and I mentioned Leonard Maker earlier, Julia Karen Lookout was another we had different functions. Each had a team leader, and Julia Karen was one. Leonard was, I believe we had him doing the most of the Toastmaster MC work that he was doing, and we had special guests that we had lined up, and then fireworks at the end, the big meal and all that. So there was a lot of moving parts on that, trying to put it all together. So, but it was a team of program directors that took this on, and it wasn't, I was just, I just put people where I thought they were best suited. And
so you were definitely a big part of the first.
Oh yes, yes, I was definitely a big part of the first one. The first one was, I haven't been to one better. And the fireworks was really good, except for the O on the Osage didn't go off. It just had sage on it, and there wasn't O on there on the fireworks. But that was the only thing that really went haywire. I think pretty much the day was, when we signed everybody signed the Constitution that day. We had the council chambers. We had the Constitution in there, and people that were going by, we had a place where they could sign in, and we have all those signatures someplace. I don't know where they are today, but hopefully they're in the museum or archive or someplace for that. All those signatures, all of them.
You could have been there. How many people were there?
Gee, I'm estimating at least 500, not 5,000, 500. At least 500 people were there. I don't know how many people were served. That panoramic photograph would capture most of the people.
Where is that photo?
It should be at the museum. Catherine, I believe Catherine Redcorn was the one that, I believe she's the one that was in charge of the photographing of that.
With that signing.
Yeah, it was quite a show.
Was it held up here on the
Yes, it was on campus. It was on campus. The tent was in the museum parking lot.
Oh, okay.
And we had, of course, we had singers, and then we had different guest speakers during the day. And it was I left home at 7, a little before 7, and picked up Greg Wofford. He was hitchhiking. He was up there by the 60 and 18 junction, by the blinking lights up there. He was catching a ride over here. I picked him up and we came over here together. We got here about a little after 7 and started setting things up, checking all of our different directors, making sure things are going well. And we had all directors were hands-on. It was an amazing day. It really was. What
do you view as your greatest achievement?
My greatest achievement is having the babies that I had. That's the only real thing that I can hang my hat on is having wonderful children and grandchildren.
What is your favorite Osage meal?
It's going to be it's going to be not just one dish. It'll be a combination of all of those dishes. And we go back to those dishes that we used to have when I was a kid, and the Yonka pins. I always think about those when with the strip meat soup. Meat gravy is right up there with the top. That buffalo that we had at Grayhorse the other day was probably some of the best meat gravy I've ever had. That was really good. And that bison, oh my goodness, that was delicious. The kidneys were always good. Blue corn hominy. That's got to be one of my favorites. Blue corn hominy with well-cooked pork. That is, oh gosh, that's really good. Melts in your mouth.
What is your motto? Last question.
Last question, motto? What was that motto, Jenny's? What did I say?
Well, we know how not to act.
Well, we know how not to act. Now, there was some people were being, I don't know if they were being arrested or acting, or being called out. And I told the kids, I said, look, we know how not to act. It kind of goes along with that, and that's probably one of the ones. I don't really have that many mottos that I live by. Go to bed early, get up early. That's about all. I can't think of anything. I don't know. I'm not that guy. I'm not the motto type guy. I used to see them all over the bulletin board on when I was playing sports. Different mottos here, the motto there, and I was like, okay, yeah, all right, that sounds good. I'm with y'all guys. Keep up the good work, fellas. No, I wasn't a motto guy.
Well, thank you for sitting down with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's an honor. It really is an honor. Thank you so much.